everyone. Welcome back to The Breakdown. I'm your host, Sandra Bebu Boateng.
Turn now to one community in Ohio, which is now the center of a growing national debate about civil rights, hate speech, and the Second Amendment. NBC News correspondent and NBC News Now daily anchor Morgan Radford visited the town of Lincoln Heights, where residents have formed an armed community defense group in the wake of a neo-Nazi rally. Morgan joins us now. You were there just on Tuesday. What did the residents tell you about what's going on?
Yeah, I was there just this week. John, it was fascinating because what's interesting is that this town was founded during the Great Migration back in the 20s as a refuge for black citizens, which is why it was especially painful when neo-Nazis suddenly appeared in this 3,000 person majority black town. But they decided to fight back, taking up arms and patrolling their own streets. Now they're at the center of a much larger debate about protection and free speech and who gets it.
Now listen, this one right here, whew, I need you to sit down and call your group chat. That's right, because what went down in Lincoln Heights, Ohio recently is not just wild, it's alarming. It is telling and honestly should be a wake-up call for all of us. Because my people, neo-Nazis pulled up to a majority black town in Ohio. Yes, in 2025, in broad daylight, to make a scene with swastikas and the whole 9 yards. It's a scary time in America, y'all. And this deserves all of our attention. We're going to break it down. But before we do, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss another critical conversation like the one we're about to have. Now, before we get into the recent events, let's talk about this town, Lincoln Heights, and why it matters. This isn't just some random neighborhood in Ohio. Lincoln Heights has history. It was one of the first self-governing black towns north of the Mason-Dixon line. Back in the 1920s, when black folks were being pushed out and redlined, Lincoln Heights was built by us, for us. It was a place where black families could own land, govern themselves, and raise their kids without fear. This is a community that birthed legends, the Isley brothers, Nikki Giovanni, and it's a symbol of black self-determination, black pride, and black power. So when hate shows up at the doorstep, that's not just a provocation, it's a message. All right, now let's take a look at what happened in February 2025, according to this MSNBC report.
These aren't police officers or soldiers.
We're business owners, your fathers, your sons, daughters.
These are civilians, members of the Lincoln Heights Safety and Watch program.
It's a duty. Okay, let's go.
The duty, protecting their neighborhood, the majority black village of Lincoln Heights, Ohio. After neo-Nazis held a rally here last month, carrying rifles, waving swastikas, and hurling racial slurs, just moments before children were let out of school. At the time, law enforcement officials said the neo-Nazis did not break any laws, but an investigation by county prosecutors is ongoing. Weeks later, the KKK came with these flyers.
First African-American community above the Mason-Dixon line.
Safety and Watch Group spokesperson Durrance Daniels says the police did not do enough, which was more chilling because the town was founded in the 1920s as a safe haven for black residents.
Lincoln Heights is our home. If somebody broke into your home, you call the police, and the police says, you know, if they do it again, we haven't broken any law, so we're just going to allow them to break into your home again. What would you do?
Are you worried at all that having a potentially armed response could just create more friction, create more danger?
I'll answer that by saying I've never felt safer as a black man in my community than I have right now.
The mayor of Evendale, which oversees the police force that responded that day, said in a statement to NBC News, "Our emphasis on de-escalation and public safety resulted in the incident's resolution without injuries to any of the persons involved." But residents here say they can't afford to wait. Every day, the Safety and Watch Group escorts children to school and patrols the streets.
Why do you all wear masks?
those Nazis, we have reports of them finding our backgrounds. So we're not hiding ourselves from the residents, but we're protecting our family for what we're doing out here.
While many locals do support the security group, some, like business owner Eric Ruffin, say they wish the group wasn't needed.
We don't want to become what we hate. You know, we don't want to become a group of people that walk around feeling like we have a reason in America to have to protect ourselves.
And this community
Stand up.
Stand up.
is not backing down.
We contacted the mayor of Evendale's office, and they say that prosecutors are looking at body camera footage of the neo-Nazi rally to see if any criminal charges could be filed. But meantime, the Hamilton County Sheriff is also calling on state lawmakers to pass legislation making it a crime to wear a mask with the purpose of intimidation while open carrying, guys.
This is the reality of the America we live in today. Are we safe? Are our children safe? Are our streets safe? This kind of hate, neo-Nazis pulling up to Black communities in 2025, isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a rising wave of white supremacists organizing across the country. From flyers being handed out by the KKK in Kentucky, to Nazi salutes at school board meetings, to white nationalist groups now openly marching in public again. This stuff is happening and it is spreading. And you gotta ask, what's helping fuel all of this? A political environment where hate is no longer whispered, it's shouted. We have leaders who refuse to condemn white supremacy, clearly. We've got platforms that amplify racial resentment, frame immigration and diversity as threats, and label anything pro-Black as divisive. And here's where it all lies.
So, Morgan, let me ask you, one of the people you interviewed there, a young man, said he's never felt safer in his community than he does now. So this could have an impact nationwide, things like this. I mean, there is a contagion factor in safety. People always seek it. What did the mayor or anybody that you spoke to think about the contagion factor?
Duran's, I don't want to speak for him, but after my conversation with him, I feel like I could confidently say he would say the contagion factor has already happened. Because when I asked, is this a reaction to a local moment or a national movement? And he said, look at January 6th. He said, you already have people felt emboldened to come here locally because of what they saw nationally. If you can hang from the building of the hallowed halls of the Capitol and then be pardoned, not be prosecuted, why don't you think you can come to a small village of African Americans, only 3,000 people?
Let me be real with you. What happened in Lincoln Heights is both terrifying and inspiring. Terrifying because it shows how bold hate has become, but inspiring because it shows how bold we still are. We come from a people who built Lincoln Heights in the face of segregation. And now, that same spirit is alive in a new generation that refuses to be intimidated. So, my people, we gotta stay vigilant. We have to organize, show up for our communities, and demand accountability from the systems meant to protect us. Because this isn't just about one town in Ohio, right? This is about every Black community in America. It's about our right to live in peace, with dignity, and without fear. So I ask you, what does true safety look like for you, for your community? Are we prepared to protect ourselves when institutions won't? And how do we fight rising hate without losing our humanity in the process? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for joining me for today's breakdown. Until next time, take care. Hey you! Thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and join the family. Also, visit face2faceafrica.com for your daily news and updates on what's going on within the global Black community so you can stay informed.